back to the topic, episode 12.
That clap's getting louder.
It is getting louder, isn't it? Yeah, it's end of season. We're doing season finale claps.
Okay. So, continue.
I can't even... I don't know what I do this, bro.
clapping.
No, it's alright, bro. We're back. Final episode of the season. Thanks for being with us. 12 episodes strong. You've done well. We've done better. But you've done well too. In the studio today, we have... Should we go... We'll go left. We'll go left this time. We have Boohoo Man Sponsorship, a.k.a. Rump Steak, a.k.a. Wasabi Donut, a.k.a. first name Gav, second name Stevens, third name Immigration's coming for me. Gavin Stevens, everybody! Behind the camera, we have Mr. Voice the Reason.
All-purpose
Seasoning, goes with everything. Don't leave him around your girlfriend because she'll become Christian, a.k.a. Pseudo Jesus. T's in the building!
I'm repeating Pseudo Jesus.
Yeah, no, I know you are, but it's season finale, so I thought I'd bring that one back from like episode 1. On my right, we have... Oh, he's not got the Air Force on today, but we had Black Air Force Dave, hide your rugby ball because I'm coming for him. Pause. Heavy as D,
Yeah, we'll take that.
God's gift to rugby,
Come on.
grey sweater,
Run it up.
sweater.
Sweater. Grey sweater. That's nice.
No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. What?
You're giving everyone good ones.
That's,
No.
What's good about it? Grey sweater? That's not good.
Bro, you're leaving him hanging. No,
I gave it to him.
Listen, you call me rumsteak, that's fine.
Yeah,
I understand.
Wasabi
That's
donut.
good. Wasabi
Yeah.
donut. That's
First
fine.
name Gavin, second name Stevens, right?
Bro, you gave out my government.
Yeah, fair.
Move it that way.
Yeah, but it's Instagram. It's on Instagram, so it's fine. It's all right. It's cool. Oh yeah, Dave's here. Woo!
Should be more claps for that, but we'll move.
You can clap for yourself.
I know, but I was listening to.
Okay, sorry. Dave's here. Woo! Last but not least, not last. What the hell am I talking about? Me, I'm here. I was here. Just A, because Ace, I'm getting corned for.
Yeah, but
Yeah, that's
That's
it.
all he gets.
That's all I get.
That's all he needs.
Anything else, I just get corned for. So there's no real point in me saying anything at this point. And our guest, Izzie, is here. Everybody, Izzie. Woo! That's the loudest one, right? Okay.
Special.
Love a
Make the
guest.
guests feel
So,
welcome, man.
huh?
Make the guests feel welcome.
Yeah, but the last
Yeah.
guest didn't get that.
He was late.
It's late.
Yeah. oh, my phone's gone. Yeah, so today our episode is just about, well, I say just, I don't want to underplay it. We're talking about teaching through lockdown, before lockdown, and just life in general. What is it like? Because I don't know if you noticed, we're all male here, so having a female perspective and a female voice on the podcast is imperative for balance. We need
Especially
that.
for some of the stuff we talk about.
Yeah, trust me. Like we could just-
Yeah, there was a couple of things. I was like,
Go on. What's your gripes? Go on. No.
Get him.
Yes, listen. This is going to be Dr. Mori. Come on, tell us what's the issue.
see.
But first,
No,
no, you can just come.
Wait. How do you, so just in general, she went uni with us, and that's how we know each other. And tell you a bit about yourself, you know.
Yeah,
Let
give
the
us
crowd
a brief intro, not like your breakfast story.
And yeah, that was poor. So I'm a PE teacher. I work in a secondary state school in Blackheath.
Nice.
I originally wanted to be a sports psychologist. After I did my masters, I went into a school to sort of make money because I was very poor out of uni.
Yes. No, I feel you.
And then I loved it, and then so I retrained as a teacher, and then now I get to teach PE every single day, and it's pretty sick.
That's so sick.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I actually want to do PE teaching too, so I'll have to chat to you after this. But but just on a, like, obviously everyone's talking about it. Like, what has it been like for you teaching through COVID in the first lockdown, and then this one too? Like, what have you been online? You've been in school face to face? Like, how have you found the kids have changed over the year and stuff? So yeah, if you just touch on that for us briefly.
So, I mean, being a PE teacher through lockdown when everyone was online completely, it was like I was a glorified PT, basically. Trying to come up with different circuits each week and keep them interested.
Did
and all
you
of that. And
nab any of Joe Wick's ones?
no, do you know what? It annoyed me so much as well that the boy comes on.
Yes.
But he comes on. He's like the nation's PE teacher. I was like, okay, fine, you can have this one go. Like, it's all right, but just wait, Joe. That was tough, and trying to hold them accountable as well. To be like, they were sending us pictures of them doing star jumps and everything like that. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Dead star jumps.
Did anyone like bunk your class? Because you can do that. Because that's probably easier now than it ever was to bunk class. Right?
I'd imagine so.
I mean, yeah, you had like 2 or 3 kids in each class who didn't do the work throughout lockdown, say. And it was sort of the same kids across the board in every single subject. I mean, you can imagine some of their living conditions and that sort of thing. So that's why perhaps they didn't engage, and that's now where we're sort of trying to
catch them up.
fill in the gaps. Then September came around and we were back in school, and that was nuts because all of a sudden you're like, I taught 5 classes of 30 kids, and it was like fine. And like, but there's this massive like global pandemic going around, but school was absolutely fine. It was like, okay, fine, whatever. But and then this time round, it seems a lot safer. Like we get tested each week, and that sort of thing. But it's tough. The kids love being back. I'd say, behaviour wise, they're better now than they were beforehand because they're like, oh, actually, I love school. I love being with my kids. So, love being with my kids. Love being with my friends. I was like, oh,
14-year-olds got kids in that.
No. Yeah, they like enjoy being back with their friends and all of that. And I think they realise that school is cool.
Yeah. You sound like such a teacher saying that, man. Wow. That was
dry. But it's like, they much prefer being back in the classroom than being stuck at home with
with mum and dad. Yeah,
exactly.
Consistently pestering them, like, turn your iPad on, do this, do that. It's like, listen, I'm at school, my friends, like, what more could I want? You get the freedom of running around with your friends, and
absolutely.
I just think that's there's something about that human interaction that we've missed out. I think everyone's missed out on, but we're quite fortunate that we've had years to do it before. So we've gone through school and uni and jobs and nights out and whatever else. We've done all that, so. Now we kind of scaled it back, as bad as it's been for a lot of people, and I don't want to talk for them because I can't, but for me personally and for the guys in the room, I think we can all agree it's been a little bit good to have that kind of downtime to kind of reassess and figure out what you want to do and all that stuff as well. I mean, obviously financially it's not been great for a lot of people, but yeah, for kids though, like they haven't had the
year 7s. I feel sorry for.
That's
like, you go from like because normally you go from being a big dog in year 6 and year 7 you kind of get simmered down to be like, listen, you ain't got it. Whereas right now they can't even build new friendships because they're doing everything over Zoom and all that sort of stuff. And you're kind of like will that hinder them in the future?
Well, yeah, exactly. How does it bode for people building relationships in the future? Like obviously a lot of stuff is going to be online and virtual, and working is going to be that way inclined.
It's a dangerous place.
Do you know what I'm saying?
And you're just letting your kid just be there all the time.
And they have to forge a whole personality online. It's mad. Like
they were doing that anyway though.
Of course,
I was
no.
Like,
but
that problem was there before lockdown. I think lockdown's just heightened it for everyone.
Yeah. So the duality of self, of like, you got your real life and then you got your online life, and online you can be whatever you want because there's no one to check you. You have no accountability. Of like, I could say
we see your Instagram. You can be whoever you want.
To be fair though, we had that too. It was it wasn't as much, but Bebo was a thing.
Exactly.
Habbo Hotel.
Habbo Hotel.
Hey, listen, I was a gallus on Habbo Hotel. I used to get girls, and they're probably old men, but I used to get
Yeah, no, it's true.
Back to topic.
What?
So you're flirting from what I'm hearing, you were flirting with old men when you were a
child. You don't know that. I'm vouching you.
Thank you.
No, because look, on
I got sticky quickly.
Dangerous.
I just got sticky.
Sticky, yeah. That's what you said. It got sticky real quickly. I'm just asking.
That is what I said, but that's not what I meant.
Back to the topic.
Back to the. Let's go back to the topic. Jesus Christ. So. Oh, sorry.
Like, Izzie, you work in Blackheath. So, what kind of school is it?
State school. So state secondary school.
And with regards to like the ethnicity and the diversity in that school.
Yeah. So you've got the surrounding areas of like Plumstead, Woolwich, Eltham, etc., etc. So it's a hugely diverse culture, etc., etc. I mean, the school I worked at before was private. And that was
completely
white, pretty much,
compared
to now in the state school. So you have socioeconomically, like, some are up here who will buy a coffee from Costa every single day before they come into school. Yeah.
I would have been
and
happy £2, man.
Trust me, for the week.
Just before school, £2. I can get you wings and chips, maybe a drink at lunchtime. Wow.
Kids are buying coffees before. That is wild.
The worst was when they're like sending me pictures on the beach of them doing the workout. I was like,
on the beach? What?
Just a different lifestyle.
Some of them just left and said, we're not doing England, we're doing...
They just went and did lockdown in another
What,
country.
in a global Panasonic? That's what people are doing.
And a global what?
Panasonic. No, we're not doing that.
That was intentional, right?
Yeah, of course it was.
No, you
I
saved
was
him.
trying to make sure he said it twice, so maybe he meant it.
I don't think he did.
I did, brother. I said Panasonic and I didn't stutter. We're not supposed to be here. Stop talking. God's sakes, man. You man do the podcast. I don't want to do this anymore. I'll just finish off this.
But on
So,
Guys Cafe,
yeah.
do you find it like how have you found the difference? Like, have you was it like a hard change?
No, I love where I am now. I love that I'm actually teaching and making a difference in kids' life, whereas at a private school I was just facilitating basically. They had their connections. They could get wherever they wanted to be if that's what they wanted to do. Whereas my kids now, I'm like, you have to work hard now and get the best GCSEs you possibly can. Like, I talk to my year 7 form and I'm like, if you don't do this now, you're not going to be successful in life. And they're like, okay.
That fear.
Yeah, but it's almost like they're held back.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, I much prefer where I am now compared to a private school. It just feels...
So just on that point, like, I don't know if any of you lot have seen Last Chance U. Yeah, I know you were. But the basketball one recently, there's the coach John Mosley, and I loved it because it's literally what I want to do in life, what he does. But he...
What, be on the Netflix series?
What he's saying to the kids is like, or to the kids, they're young adults. It's like, you man want to be professional basketball players, but you are at such a disadvantage socio-economically. Like, even just to get a tryout, you have to work. You have to be 10 times as better as the next guy. Is that kind of what it's like for you when you look at some of your kids that you have in? And I don't want to single people out on anything, but when you look at some of your class and stuff, you're like, boy, you're gonna have it hard. Like, you just, Is it just feel like that? You have to be extra hard on them or extra soft, or give them like 10% more in some direction. Is that something you feel like you have to do?
I wouldn't say extra hard, extra soft. Like, you treat everyone absolutely the same in terms of behaviour-wise and things like that. I think it's more the pushing them into those extracurricular clubs, the letting them find a place in life and sort of what they want to do more, and like actually giving them the support, which they're not getting at home. And having those conversations with them that they wouldn't have at home is actually me doing it instead for them. That kind of thing. But I know that Dave and I spoke because a couple of the rugby players came out and did that. What was it, like film or whatever, and they're like, what's it called? Ben Obano did it. And like Anthony Watson and stuff, and they're like, schools is where we need to find them and push them. And I was like, well, where are you? I was like, come in, come help us then.
That's
like,
true,
don't sit behind the screen and say this is what we should be doing. Like, you should be in a school showing them that this is where you could be if you did this, and this, and be there with them.
That's true, because no one ever gets held like a cat. Like, they will say, you need to do this, you need to do that. But when you have well,
you get credit for the idea of it.
Yeah.
That's why. Everyone will pat you on the back. Oh, you said the right thing. Well done. That's a really good thing. And then there's no...
Do you know what? Now you're saying it, because I was like proper promoting that, just like sharing it and everything. And now I'm just thinking, he and others haven't like reached out to schools to be like, can I come and help you?
Do you think that's because of the time, though? Do you think because of everything
going
on?
They're still playing rugby.
Oh, okay, yeah, fair enough. I don't keep up to track of rugby, up to date with rugby, so I thought maybe that, on the off chance that they're saying it, but they haven't been given the opportunity.
It's tricky.
But then you think about that, and
it's not easy to go.
but Marcus Rashford's been going, and I don't want to say tit for tat kind of thing, but Marcus Rashford has been going to schools. He has been doing stuff on the ground with people, so there's the opportunity to do it. But yeah, each to their own, I guess.
And Bale professional sports schedules are crazy.
Oh yeah,
it won't be easy to find time to pop down to the school.
Because when you want to come in and do assembly, it's probably when they're doing training in the mornings, and it's like I can't just miss training to go. They probably could, but why not? Yeah,
I was gonna say they get 5 minutes. Like 5 minutes record, like
right.
You know what I mean?
And that 5 minutes will stick with a kid for their whole life.
100%,
Like I know if Henri put a video at my school when I was 7, 8, 9, I would have been like, oh my god, he's talking to me. I'm gonna go play for Arsenal. He looked at me as well. No. Oh, that would hurt, bro. Why?
No, that's just making sure.
I have a question. You didn't want to be a teacher?
No, not originally.
So is there any kind of like weird feeling of like when you're then a teacher being like any opinion you had of a teacher when you were a kid and then actually understanding where that behavior comes from as a teacher now? Like, what's that like?
Well, like a teacher being hungover the next day.
Yeah.
No, just
why does that come into your head?
Because I always used to think like sometimes you just be like, it might like some teachers could have gone on a night out and then taught you next day
on a Friday,
and you wouldn't know. You're just thinking, why are you angry at me all the time?
Or the ones where they put on films and it's like, oh, this is sick. Why are you doing this every day? Please at the back. It's not like, I don't know what's going on. Oh, is it time to go? Yeah, everyone out, go.
Spray time.
If I'm honest, I don't think I wanted to become a teacher because of the stigma around it. Because of, it was almost like, why would you settle at a teacher instead of going up and beyond? And I was like, oh, well, I'll go up and beyond then. Like, maybe. But actually, I love the coaching side of uni. I loved actually teaching kids and all of that. But yeah, I think I should have just listened to myself and followed what I wanted to do rather than what everyone else was kind of in your ear being like, you don't want to be a teacher. I was like, okay, fine. Yeah, you're right. Whatever.
On the rugby thing, I just wanted to say, like, being like, because you still play, right? Mm-hmm. So do you encourage girls to play rugby at the moment?
Yeah. So we can't do
full contact
extracurricular sport outside of after school at the moment.
Oh yeah, of course,
until the end of the month, and then we can start again. But even then, we've got.
Just tell him off.
Yeah, no, tell him. Please tell him off. No, because if I did that, everyone would be telling me. So please tell him.
Say, T, don't do that.
I'm so sorry.
Whatever. Yeah, we do encourage it, but it's also they have to stay in their bubbles. Mm-hmm. So their college bubbles, it's like a house system basically. We call it college, I don't know why. But so I might have I could have a rugby team across the school, but because they're in their colleges, I can't actually mix and match them.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're doing more like your badminton, table tennis,
finer skills,
cricket at the moment.
So do you think there's going to be like a generation of like
cricketers?
No, like women who play sports who probably wouldn't go into that, like, so like they could be amazing at sports, but because of COVID, they're never going to know they were going to be good at sports, if that makes sense. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's taking a whole year.
I hear what you're saying, and I can only talk from the primary point of view, but what I know is that there's gonna be a real push this summer term and in September, autumn term, to really push kids back into sport. Yeah. Because they've been indoors for so long. Like, a lot of them have been sedentary. Like, you just want to get them playing. And then, so from my point of view, from what I know that, not for a fact, but I know for almost a fact, is that there'll be I reckon you'll see so much more adverts of people saying, yeah, come back into sport now. Like, you're talking about the rugby thing. Yeah. They'll get footballers doing it. They'll get badminton players doing it. Cricketers doing it.
Remember when they used to have those Robinsons?
Yeah. Wimbledon, yeah.
Tennis.
Or when we had the Olympics and every other advert was about, come down to the Olympic parks. Like, bruv, I live in like Stratford. I don't live in Stratford, sorry. I live in like Scotland. Like, I'm not coming all the way down for that. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I think there'll be a real big push to get people back into it, because kind of like on the point that Izzie's making, I played football football when I was younger, but then when I went to secondary school is when I started playing rugby. But I'd never played rugby before. I got pushed into it because I was taller and bigger than everyone else, and I ended up being okay at it. So there might be that kind of thing where people have gone through their growth spurts in this last year, and then it'd be like, oh, you look big, you can play basketball, or you look like, or you've played, now that you've done the finer sports, the fine skill sports, even like the badmintons and table tennis and whatever else, they've picked up and they're like, oh, actually, I'm getting this now. Let me go into competing table tennis in London Borough or whatever. So
my biggest fear would be like to have a student that really wants to like do a sport, and they're just real bad, and they're pushing. They're just like, Miss, what do you think of this? And then you're just like, oh yeah, keep going, man. Like,
but that's when you push them into like the team sport. Like, they can kind of like drop back a bit. Whereas like when you're doing 1v1 badminton, it's like, oh, I can't do anything here.
They're trying to move their legs and trying to get across, but the arms aren't going too, and it's just like, why is your centre of gravity?
That's when they get in the growth spurts and stuff.
So it's awkward.
Lankiness, body doesn't know what it's doing, coming or going. That's what I'm saying, it's mad. But I actually have one, I was going to say gripe, it's not a gripe. I have one thing that I want to come back to. And you know, at the beginning you said you had a couple of things that you thought that you were thinking, when these guys are talking. Do you want to bring that up now? Or what about within the podcast? Yeah, what have we said in the podcast?
I can't even remember.
No, that's a cop out, man. Say it.
No, I can't actually remember.
Oh shit!
But I'm not gonna cop out.
I thought you were just gonna say no. I don't want to cuss them out.
No, I think it's just there were like little things which were said that came across perhaps like male
dominated
toxic masculinity kind of vibe.
You think we're toxic?
No, it can come. No, that's not what I said. I said toxic masculinity. That's different.
Okay.
But clearly you've got something there because you.
See how quickly he jumped onto that.
Yeah.
If anything, I
grabbed it.
You know. I defend. I call you guys out if you ever talk reckless about women.
Because all you know what I'm saying? All he does talk about his girlfriend and things that's exclusive from masculinity at all.
Alright, cool, fair enough. Yeah. That's good.
Can we just highlight?
Yeah.
He's not spoken about his missus since I put him in his little corner.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, do you know why? Because I
He created on toxic.
Yeah. Because every episode is like, my girlfriend does this. She's so amazing. Yes, we know, bruv.
The shout at her, though, man. I love her to bits.
Can I turn his mic down? Come off the podcast, bro. You're gonna start your own podcast. But no, it's interesting to hear because we talk to people in DMs and stuff and on messages, and people give us their feedback. And I don't want to put you on the spot here, but like we don't want this to become we're 3 guys, 4 guys, 4 black men,
5 guys.
Yeah, 5 guys.
Whole tight burger.
Oh,
I'm waiting. No, we'll wait until you do it. Thank you. We don't want it to come across like we're just like ignorant to what's going on. So having the female voice or having a female voice on here is good. I believe is good for us to kind of balance out what we think and what,
you haven't come across like that. Like just set yourself down. It's fine.
I'm gonna call this.
You're doing a good job.
You're good, man. Don't worry about it, guys.
I was gonna call this episode "Toxic Masculinity" as well. Like, these men are toxic. Nah, I know, but yeah, even still, it's nice to. So we appreciate you coming on. I'm not rapping, by the way. I was giving you props. Yeah, no, I'm not rapping.
Okay, so when you see things that guys do that are toxic masculinity and they're doing it, maybe oblivious to it, what are the steps you think a dude can take to stop being?
I think
it's a big question.
It is, and it's built into society. Like, there's no doubt about that, and it's 100%. Just our systems that are there. We really try at school in terms of PE to cut it out. Like, we'll keep them mixed because we like the influence that girls bring into sport and that boys and that balance sort of thing. I think it is just calling it out. Like, I called it out on the Year 9 boys and I was like, why are you all just bringing each other down like this? And they're like, I don't know. I was like, but like, and the minute that you actually say like, there are more male suicides due to them males trying to be this bigger and better person when it's just not needed. Like, end of the day, who are you trying to impress? Because it's not us. I'll tell you that. Like, it's definitely it's not us.
Who are we trying to impress?
And I think it's each other. You're trying to big up
100%,
each other, and I think it is having that awareness and actually just calling it out when it does happen, and then you kind of reset and you're like, oh yeah, that's not.
It's not alright to be doing. It's mad though. It's like it's so natural, and I hate that it is, but it's so natural to, like you say, when you're in Year 9, that's when you become like, you start doing these things for bravado and for your boys' attention. But like, and everyone went through it, but for some reason we don't question it. We kind of just. And I was saying this. Was it you? I was saying this to? No, I was saying to someone yesterday. Just about how a good friend of mine, we bullied him. Like, that was our friendship was based on bullying. And I'm like, no wonder he doesn't like anyone anymore, because we spent years tearing the man down. Like
why you don't speak to him? Like,
exactly. Yeah.
Because you bully. Exactly.
And then
you don't realise.
You know what? We've actually got like so I've got a group chat with like a couple of boys that I went to Prague with ages ago, and there's actually one guy in it called Victim. And like,
to say Victor, like that's a victim.
No, because it's something that happened in Prague, and then you're kind of like, cool, fine. But then when he doesn't reply to when we say, oh, we're going here, do you want to come? We're just like, oh, Ray, man, you never replied. It's like, bro, anytime I come around you, all of you are calling me a victim. So
why am I? You know
what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we talk about protecting our mental health and stuff as people. Like, why would you put yourself in a situation where your friends, no matter how close you think they are to you or not, like, why would you put yourself in a situation where people take the mick out of you constantly?
Well, you started this podcast.
I did start this podcast.
I was going to say
entirely my fault. At this point, I'm realizing that it's just my fault. So, but no, I just think it's mad that we grow up. You kind of go in, like you say, to year 7 as the big, you think you're the big dog, then year 9's come nick your ball and kick it away, and you're like, oh, actually, I can't fight these men, and I can't outrun them, so I've got to knock myself down. Year 8, you kind of find your feet and whatever.
Do you remember
else.
when you got like? Do you remember the first, like, one of the incidents where you realised that you were not as big as you were?
Yeah,
Do you remember it?
yeah. Well, I mean, I was tall, so I was okay.
Yeah.
So people would be like, "Oh, come play football with us," and then I realised I was not levels because that's like primary school.
It's
and
when
that.
they say it's year 7s versus year 9s, you get that first barge, and you're just like, oh, okay.
Barge. You mean tucker from behind? There's no ref.
Yeah.
They're kicking your Achilles. I'm like, Mr. Mitchell. Yeah, like Mr. Mitchell, help me.
Yeah.
Bruv, come on, man.
It's character building, isn't it?
Ew. I'd rather learn character other ways, just in class maybe, or not being kicked to my Achilles. Like,
True.
but yeah, it's mad. I think there's better ways that we can be better people. There's better ways that we can do things, and like you say, calling kids out on it is probably the best way as teachers and people in positions of power, is just to let them know, like, yeah, this ain't all right. Like, you can be friends without bullying each other. Do you understand? I know that's part of growing up and character building, as we say, but there's ways around it, man. You can.
Do you think, because, like, obviously you see children, like, as students a lot more than parents do you think you have a bigger influence on them than at home?
That's a big question.
It is.
I like that
Some, yeah.
Yeah.
Some, yes. Like, there's basic things like manners and tucking their shirts in and how to tie their shoes and things like that.
I'm not gonna lie, when I was at school, you told me to tuck in my shirt. I will purposely show you that I'm not wearing it. I would have let it hang.
For what reason?
I don't know.
Exactly.
What do you gain from doing
this
that?
is the thing that I want to know, is like to be inside the head at the moment where they're like, I'm gonna keep my shirt untucked just to get told to tuck it in.
Or top button. That was my one. Undo the top
do you know,
button.
I don't mind the top button unless once the tie is up to the top. I forget about the top button. Like, as long as I can't see it, whatever.
Do you remember the chunky ties? You had to. No one else did it.
I didn't do it, but I knew it.
Yeah.
I used to use a chunky tie.
I bet
It's
you had
a
a short
control
one
thing,
as well.
though.
Yeah, I had to. Yeah.
What, from
It's
teachers?
No, from the kids.
What is
A
it?
kid has no control. In
Oh!
their
I
life.
thought you meant as in
So
the
I'm
kid.
gonna
Yeah.
control whether my uniform looks a certain way, because that's all I can control.
Did you were alright with uniform? You didn't like wear. You wore trainers a
I
couple
was
times.
sagging though. That was my
Yeah,
thing.
that was yeah.
How
I was sagging
annoying was sagging?
and top button. Top button was my thing too.
I just thought it used to choke me, man. Like,
mine did,
Yeah. That was my thing. It's like the shirt's too small.
It's not comfortable.
But I was a good
Yeah.
student as well. So the teachers like they didn't see it as a point of rebellion. They're just like, you should probably dress better.
They just allowed
Yeah, you know. It
But
wasn't like,
Did you go to the same school as A?
yeah, so I didn't.
So
I
that's
didn't ever
probably
get
why
humbled.
they saw him.
Because he was. So I had
Lost
like.
cause.
He was the big
Yeah.
About lost course. What's going on? Try and error. Cool. You haven't said anything in 10 minutes. That's we can't. Fantastic.
I'm listening.
Oh my days. No, I don't even want to say anymore, bro. You don't talk. I don't want to talk anymore. I'm gonna huff.
Diddums.
Okay. Well, here's another thing. Oh, this might be the. Okay, we'll see. So of course, Sarah Everard's murder happened a few weeks ago or a month ago.
Can we cut out? I said who? Because I knew we were talking about. Sorry.
That's up to him. But one thing I saw that was a big thing in terms of there was a lot of education, right, on how men can make women feel more comfortable. One of the things that was really interesting to me, and I'm not sure where I stand with it, was the whole, if you're walking behind a girl at night, just cross the road kind of thing.
But when that happens as well, like, I've had it before where someone's like behind me and I speed up, slow down, like just to check and then they cross the road and I'm like, where are they going to go?
Right.
Are they going to go round the back road and then come back round to me? And I was like,
Right.
and in my head I'm thinking of all the routes that they could go to and then find me back at like off guard.
Yeah.
And I saw an interesting post and it said about how men need to change, we need to teach them this, we need to teach them that. And it was almost like, as a society, actually it's both ways. Like, no one should feel scared to walk home at 8 o'clock at night. Women or man. And I do think there's, absolutely, it was called out on a female, and females are walking, like, I don't feel safe walking around at night, like I'll get an Uber everywhere sort of thing. But there are times that perhaps a a smaller male won't feel safe either.
Of course,
because he can't fight himself off. So.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not here. Stop talking. Stop it. Just waffling, bro. No, it's off. You're not talking. Stop.
Yeah.
No, but like, so if I was walking at night and Dave was following me, I'd be shook. Not because it's Dave, but because of the perception of people. Yeah. Right. So I'm not reducing.
I'd be more, but I would be scared of you.
Yeah,
because you're taller than me. I'm bigger than you.
Exactly.
But this is the thing, right? It's like in all of these things that kind of coping mechanism, fear doesn't get eliminated. So actually, we're not resolving.
Exactly.
Because we're still scared.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And how do you actually get rid of fear, especially when we can all admit crap ain't gonna change? Like, it can change this much, then it'll go all the way this way. Yeah. But like, it's kind of stuck because people are evil. The thing that no one wants to say, God forgive me, if someone wants to rape someone,
they're gonna do it.
They're gonna do it, right?
I mean,
because there's already something wrong, right? And if someone, like you said, if someone has really bad intentions, them crossing the road doesn't change that.
Yeah, it doesn't change.
So like, it's frustrating. Like, in terms of like, how on earth are we gonna get rid of this fear?
But it comes back to what you said, is about society being, we are a patriarchal society. There's no ifs, ands or buts about it. So it's almost like, do we just tear everything down from the top to bottom and just start again? Or do we kind of do what we can do where we can do it, so that the next generation, the kids that you and I coach and kids that we're all around in some aspects, are better off, so then their kids are better off, so that then it won't be in 100 years, it won't be 200 years or whatever. It'll be years to come that the society will start looking like we can walk freely on the roads and no one feels like, oh my God, this guy's gonna jump me.
Then that would mean everyone needs to buy in, which everyone won't buy into it.
But I was going to say that all of us in here, when we have children or whatever, or nieces, nephews, you will teach them to look after a girl, to that the values, your morals, etc., etc. That's all good that we've done it. But the people who are out there like harming people, it's their mums and dads, it's their it's their childhood trauma that has brought them about that way. I can't see it ever being changed.
Which is a shame,
sad.
It is
sad,
mad.
But there's always going to be that like minority, or there's always something's going to happen which causes that like brain imbalance, etc., etc.
Some of it's hereditary to an extent. People are just wired differently and are different in how they view things and like say deal with their traumas and stuff. So it's without. I mean, we've gotten pretty deep, but without getting too deep into it, it's like you almost have to like scale it back to when people have children and how they deal with their stuff. And like we spoke about before, actually, about how when people are born from bad situations or into bad situations, it's like at that point it's all about preventing rather than curing. Because if you're preventing, you don't have to worry about a mass rapist or mass murder or whatever. So we ain't. I mean, we can
that's
only.
where that logic comes in, though, crossing the street, because that's preventing and not curing.
Exactly.
I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. I have faith in God, so I believe there is a cure here. But but I also am a cynic, and so I believe with you. Like, it's not. Everyone's not going to be on the same page at any point. Humans aren't like that.
Nah, it doesn't work like that.
So
and it's so upsetting as well.
Yeah,
because then you just think like the children that we're hopefully trying to bring to this world. Like, what kind of world are they going to have?
Is it even worth it?
That's real, man.
You have to question it. Is it even worth it? Because you think, like, you could think somebody, like, you can be with someone for a whole of your life and be like, oh, I respect that person. I think that you can hold him or her to the highest regard, and then he or her could do something mad, and you're just like, I didn't even expect you to do that. Like, what went through your head to say that? And then it's not until something happens and then you see the true them and you're just like, oh man, I was rooting for you and you've come out with this, and you've got kids, so you're probably teaching your kids the exact same thing, which is just.
But that's where people got to be honest with themselves 100%. I can never account for anyone 100% ever, because I know him like the back of my hand. I can never account for him 100%.
Oh, no one can.
So no, but same him to me, right? And so there's an element of, if I am not going to be honest with myself, then anything can happen, bro. Like, as in, I could be the person to do anything because I haven't checked everything in me. So that is a practice that individuals can get into of like, I need to really sit with myself and check where did that thing come from? I mean, it's probably even way over there kind of conversation, but then like, you think about these kids, male and female, that like watch porn from like 8, 9, 10 years old.
Yeah, that's mad.
And think there's no link to sexual abuse in that.
Yeah.
Like, think of your programming of relationships between men and women from that young an age. If you don't sit and check these things, healthy, not healthy, whatever your conclusion is on it, you need to check it, because it could outwork in any way. And then we're all left going, oh, that was a good dude, man. Now I never thought.
Yeah, I never thought. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Whenever you see like terrorists and that, it's always like people around him was like, oh, he was such a nice guy. Everyone's a nice person when you see him in some facet capacity.
Right.
It just takes one bad day and they're like, oh, you know what? F all the Muslims, or F all the black people, or F all the white people.
Exactly.
Like, it's mad.
And we also said, like we said in the previous episode, like everyone has their. You can act somewhere. You can act some place like this and some place like that.
Right.
And it's kind of like trying to find how to navigate the room.
Right.
So yeah. People are effed, man.
Yeah, but we have to live in hope that people can be better and will be better, because otherwise we might as well just all finish it here. Do you know what I mean? We just get hella bleak, like, do you know what I mean?
It starts with you.
What's the plan?
But it starts with you as an individual.
Yeah.
That's where the solution is going to start. So you got to work with it.
But saying that as well, this is where we have these kind of conversations to balance it out, because we're all genuinely good people. If you get what I mean.
If you look at the podcast, you look at other things, you have to think about it. I don't think we're all great people.
No, but some of us, not pointing at Ayo, but some of us.
Why the hell you got to me? What's? Finish your point, bruv, man.
No, but some of us are all good people, and like, to be honest with you, it's where we are balancing out those evil that other people have in them, if you get what I mean. Yeah. And we've seen some people with innate evilness that they can kill someone and not feel a type of way. Whereas us, we actually balance them out and show women and show other people out there that we're actually a good, genuine person. Like, there's actually a good heart out there for people like us, if you get what I mean. So,
but would you not get scared of, like, if you grew up, let's say you grew up with around like quote unquote people like us, and then like you bring up your children that way, they have a society around them that's like that, but then you send them out into the big world. Do they then not know how to do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of like some people saying, oh yeah, I want to get my kids out the hood, but then if they're in a hood situation, will they know they're in a hood situation? Because
that's what they know. Yeah.
Doesn't that come down? Sorry.
No.
Doesn't that come down to you as a parent educating them?
Right.
When they're in that situation.
Because I think a lot of parents, or my parents, when I first came to this country, I used to live in Plumstead. My mum said to me, like, this is a bad area, this is a rough area. I don't want you out at 8 p.m. at night.
But is that fear?
Yeah.
Because the thing is with me, because that's what my mum did. My mum said, don't go here, don't go there, don't go there. Like, don't go to Brixton, don't go to Peckham, all that sort of stuff. And you're kind of like, cool. But then it got to a point where Brixton and Peckham, all these places have changed. But in the back of my head, I'm just like, I don't want to go to Brixton.
Right.
So then people are saying, oh, Dave, we're going down to Brixton. I'm like, all right, cool, I'm not coming. Because I've still got that. And as a child, you don't like, you want them to experience everything, and you want them to like grow. And like, if they want to jump in a puddle and find out that you'll get wet and you'll get a cold. Because otherwise they'll be like, I don't know why I'm not doing it, but I've been told not to do it.
Yeah.
And then they don't, and then it kind of shuts off a bit of like their brain.
Well, I mean, I think we should all revisit this conversation when we have kids, because I think it'll be completely different how we deal with it when we actually have kids.
Hold on. You think I'm bringing my kids around you lot?
Yes.
You have to.
Yeah, I do.
I really do.
I tried to give it bigger like I wouldn't, and I was like, yeah, I probably will. Like.
But I think it's a thing of like that education has to come from a parent first, right? So the solution is not to go, you can and can't do this, just shut down. You have to explain what this thing is. Exactly. And then what we do, because we're trying to navigate a certain way, we do XYZ thing. Therefore, you know about the situation, but you have to experience it. Like, I can explain to you why you should not put your hand on a stove, or why you shouldn't get stabbed, right? You don't have to experience that for me to tell you to do that. Now, I know how I was as a child. Just being told like the full really good explanation wasn't enough, because I was inquisitive. So at some point, my mum or dad would go, no, you're not doing it.
Yeah.
That's it. And I think that's what a lot of us remember. And then we go, "Oh, our parents said that they suck. They're not allowed to do it." No, they probably actually spent a year explaining to me why not. And I just remember
that catalyst moment
exactly.
where, exactly.
It's honesty, man.
Yeah,
be honest with yourself and then with kids.
Which is why the last year was so good for most of us. In that, if you took it that way, it was a good year in terms of sort of coming back down to zero and figuring out where your traumas were.
A lot of stuff has happened over the last year that it's opened up a lot of society's wounds that we're scared to either show or to talk about.
I hope it doesn't go to waste.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, exactly.
Back to normal
you really hope that when this is all like quote unquote over and everyone goes back to the normal life, you're just kind of like, do you remember everything that happened then? Because this could be the rebirth, if anything, of the world, which would be
COVID 2024. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, man, that goes deep, bro.
That was good.
Yeah, it was. Nutritional. Yeah, mind food. I don't know what you said.
Well fed.
Oh, yeah, rump steak.
I was here for 5 minutes.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Talking to your blood clot mic, man. I was here for 5 minutes.
Gav was listening to me like, this is a lot, isn't it?
I wish I could join in.
I didn't know how to talk in the mic.
Gav was like, where can I insert something worth saying?
Oh my god.
Okay. Is that how you're talking to the mic?
Okay, brilliant. So that's been Back to Stop It podcast. Thanks for listening. Thanks for Izzie for joining us as well.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, we'll clap up. That's the end of the season. We've done 12 episodes. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for being our last episode. Thanks for being our last guest, even. We've really enjoyed it. We're back sooner than you think. Keep up to date with all the stuff. It'll all be down below. Click, like, and share, and subscribe. There'll be a video here.
Tell them.
Yeah, you do actually. Yeah, you can do it.
Click, like, subscribe.
Yeah, but
try
again.
You
got this.
No, but say it properly this time.
Yeah, that was probably.
Oh.
Do you know what? Don't do it.
Yeah. Whatever, man. We'll see you guys soon. Thanks for joining in. And
Cue the J. Cole.
Yeah, I was trying to think of something funny to that. Something cool.
Cheers, fans. Bye.
Yeah, safe. Bye. Oh, blow.